Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 10 of the Elise Edwards Experience. My name is Elise Edwards, aka Elise Adamkara, aka DJ Jouet, aka Elise It Matters What You Say. Thank you so much for joining me. Hey, friends, I am seeing you in the chat. Super fun, excited about it. Oh, look, I'm going to add this ticker to the bottom of the screen. Do be aware that I am DJing as part of Discount Disco, my DJ outfit that I do with Sneakers in the Dryer on New Year's in DC at Flash Nightclub. And I have included a promo code in the ticker so that you can get your tickets and support. And I think it's a discount of some nature. Anyway, we will be joined here momentarily by the most delectful John Moses, comedian. Make sure that you follow him on all the socials. I think it's John Moses Comedian on Instagram, as well as on Twitter. It might just be John Moses something, but you can definitely see the Twitter there. I was in the midst of, judging myself, or at least planning to, but I was just like, you know what? Why don't I just stay with the theme of being what Patrick Melton called a low effort loser, or maybe it was no effort loser. I don't know. I'm just going to go with that theme because hashtag cannot, it's just like, what am I going to do at this point or ever? So yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, so John Moses, I actually met on the Rock Bottom podcast. I think before it was called the Rock Bottom podcast with Ray. Yes, thank you, Franklin Scheckler. Yes, Elise is your favorite low effort loser. I love that for us. And he was alliterative. That's great. I'm loving these. I'm going to put these on the screen. As you know, I don't have super chats because I am not monetized on YouTube. And God knows that the second that I got monetized on YouTube, they would take that shit away from me. They'd be like, this bitch is talking the greasiest shit. She is against all of the nonsense. And, YouTube is kind of a nonsense platform in addition to a lot of other ones too. Let me know if I'm if I'm like coming through like loud and clear, because my it says that I'm going in and out of Wi-Fi for no reason, but there it is. Anyway, so John Moses, whenever he does actually join, is hilarious. And I found out via a series that he does on his Instagram that he's also newly divorced. And so he's doing a hilarious series on Instagram that I hope you guys check out, called Gas Station Dick Pill Ratings or something like that. And it is hysterical. And one of my favorite things about it is that after he goes through the process of letting you know how he feels, blah, 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 then like kind of like the last frame of his video will be him, tight shot on his face, post coitus, and giving you his overall rating. It's so fun. So a week ago, maybe it was 2 weeks ago now, he hit me up on Instagram to let me know, or to ask me when it was that I was going to be DJing next in New York, because he wanted to come see me DJ. And I had just been out all night at a friend's birthday party that then turned into a dancing, drunken something. And I completely lost the day. And so when he sent me a DM being like, DJ Jouet, when are you gonna, when you're gonna do the dance floor, I'll totally like come and see, and blah, blah, blah. I ended up just sending him this video response back because, I'm a low effort loser who literally didn't even have my wits about me enough to be able to type. But I also thought it would be a good homage to his, the gas station dick pill series that he's been doing on Instagram. So here is my video.
That I drink all the
wait, okay. So Here it is for you to watch, enjoy.
John Moses, Elise Edwards here, big fan. I don't know when I'm DJing next, but I will tell you that I drank all the drinks last night and I feel awful. Also, your dick pill gas station shit makes me laugh. I will let you know when my DJ gigs are coming on, but there's also, you can always just, request me at your local club. John.
So I hope you guys are as tickled by that. Yeah, more that wasn't even morning. That was like 2 p.m. That was like 2:30 or something like that. So it was a whole ass situation. And actually, yes, thank you, beloved chatter. I know that I sent beloved chatter the way of John Moses so that he could go in and check it out. And I think I got John Moses a fan. So I'm loving it. He's kind of rebranded as 40 something fuckboy or something like that. Like, and I don't know. I respect the game also there, even though I have plenty of stage, comedy material that is about my fuckboy radar, my fuckboy detector being on the fritz. And, maybe that's why I'm endeared to John Moses. But I was actually endeared to John Moses when I first met him on Ray's podcast last year. Was it last year? I think it was last year. It may have been 2021, actually. But yeah, so I'm super excited to have him on if and when he joins. I know that I sent him the link earlier and we discussed it a week ago, even if I didn't put the thing on Twitter until just today, because dude, shit is falling apart. Shit is falling apart before it comes back together. I think it's a good time to pivot for a little bit of astrology in the sense that today kind of fucked up. Today's kind of fucked up, which doesn't seem great because tomorrow and the next day are going to be super fucked up. Not in the worst way. It's just like tomorrow we have a new moon in Sagittarius, which usually a Sagittarius new moon is all about this like re awakening of a new level of enthusiasm for something. Sagittarius is like the philosopher, itinerant philosopher, theologian, like the person that's spreading the good word, the harbinger, if you will. And so usually our Sagittarius new moon is all about this like renewed enthusiasm, which we generally need going into the holidays. But then we also have it squaring Neptune and Mercury retrograde starting within 24 hours of each other. So actually, the new moon is actually squaring Neptune. So things are going to seem more confusing, more nebulous. And yeah, communications are slowing down to a halt. And then we'll have 3 weeks of Mercury retrograde to look forward to. So some things, if you can finish your holiday shopping like today, do that. And if it feels like you're rushing to get a bunch of shit done today, you'll have no choice but to slow down over these next 3 weeks starting on December 13th. So, and of course, the best way to utilize a Mercury retrograde is to slow down, go back over communications, ideas, thoughts, projects, etc., that you have been working on, especially in these past month. But it can even go back as far as the last Mercury retrograde that we had, which was sometime in the summer. Don't ask me. I can get you the exact date, but in any case, yeah, man, the retrogrades are all about slowing down and going back over your work before moving forward. And you can choose to move forward on things. Just know that you probably will have failed to dot a bunch of I's and cross a lot of T's before that happens. Oh, okay. So we do have John Moses up in the game. I'm excited to have him on. And without further ado, the one and only John Moses.
Hey,
What's happening, John? How are you?
Elise, thanks for having me on.
Oh my gosh, thank you for being here.
Oh, I'm disappointed I missed all like the astrological tips.
Oh, well,
all the rich stuff.
I mean, I can recap on them. The main thing,
Basically, I got to cross all the T's and dot all the I's is what I got, and I'm like, oh my god, I haven't crossed any T's or dotted any I's like in about 44 years.
okay, well, it's never too late to start. Very
There we go.
important, things go in cycles. Even Q-Tip told us that, right? So you can believe Q-Tip. He knows. He's
Yeah,
Q-Tip, the abstract.
Yes,
But
I do.
yeah, it's actually starting on the 13th, so not tomorrow, but the next day when
Yeah.
Mercury goes retrograde. We're gonna have Mercury, which is the sign of or the planet of communication, and short distance travel. So yes, this is why, and the technology that rules them both. So anything from email, your
So
cell phone,
GPS is out.
your computer, yeah, your GPS might be fucked,
Hmm.
your car, your bike, any of these things that allow for short distance travel of either your physical self or your thoughts. And so you might not want to be like sending new emails or like definitely not, don't sign any new contracts, that kind of stuff. Instead, revise what kind of contracts and stuff like that have been put in place over these past 3 weeks, as well as all the way back to the last Mercury retrograde, which now I feel bad. Now I feel like I'm on the spot to tell you exactly what fucking day that is. So let me get my stupid little thing out here.
So shut it down till after Christmas is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's really about shutting it down till after Christmas. It's kind of
Yeah.
like I just got to work with what I've got or what's already
Oh,
been
God.
set in
I
place.
kind of need some more money between now and
Well, if it's something that you've already been doing, you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
don't know if you're talking about booking new show dates or whatever.
Yeah.
If you do, it doesn't mean that they're awful. Just they're more like double
Right.
check your if you're getting a hotel, double check that there's actually a hotel thing, a reservation for you, as opposed to getting there and like being bleary-eyed after a show and it's like 2:30 a.m. and they're like, oh, we actually didn't receive that. And you're like, oh, actually, blow me,
Is this like a thing that happens at this time of year every year?
It does. It happened last year, kind of around the same time.
Because in 2021, it definitely happened around the same time to me. Just that situation. Like after the show, I go to get the hotel, and they're like, "No booking here," and then the club was like, "Oh, we're so sorry," and all this crap. But anyway,
I definitely know that last year we had a similar time period, but I want to say that it started a little closer to Christmas, maybe, or maybe just after Christmas.
Okay.
But if you're already in what's called the retrograde shadow, it means Mercury, the planet, is already appearing to slow down, which means that the communications are slowing down. They haven't ground to a halt yet. They're not moving in reverse yet, but they are in fact slowing down. So there has been kind of like a mad rush to like get the communications out beforehand. And then, yeah, like I said, it's kind of like a decompression period where you're just kind of forced to slow down.
It's
Take
funny
your
because I've
time.
been like, just because of Christmas, I've been like in a rush to get emails out, just because like everybody's about to start, shutting it down till after New Year anyway. So it's like if you can't get them out by the end of this week, really it was the end of last week was my feeling, but then of course I procrastinated. So it's like if you can't get them out now, like don't even bother sending it until January because nobody's going to be worrying about new business.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So it's interesting that this one really corresponds with kind of like the last functional week before everyone breaks for the holidays through the new year. Okay, let
Okay.
me find out when the last time. I guess you missed also the video. I actually replayed my response video that I sent you on Instagram.
Okay.
I almost feel like I want to play it again because I know that we have more people watching right now, and I'm just charmed by it, especially because I love how you called out the throwback, like me alluding to your format.
The nod.
And you were like, dude, thanks for the nod. And I was like, bro, thank you. I loved it. And I can't wait to find out more about what brought on this gas station
review.
the review. But we'll get to that in a second. Let me give you the date of when the last planetary, let's see, Mercury went retrograde. And
by the way, is my audio good? Can you?
Your audio is
I want to make
great.
sure that this mic is being picked up and it's not like the laptop mic because I've made that mistake before and it sounds horrible and tinny when it's the laptop.
No, it sounds great. I don't know. Mine might be horrible and tinny right
No, you
now.
sound good.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. So yeah, so Mercury last time it went retrograde was August 23rd and it ended on September 15th. So
Mm.
so things that have been happening since September 15th you might be like retrograding on things all the way back to that period. But most specifically, the communications and whatnot that we have been in or putting out there, travel arrangements, et cetera, in the last 3.5 to 4 weeks are the things that are going to have our most. We're literally going to have an opportunity to go back and review them, revise them. These are the projects and things that you want to be focusing on from this Wednesday up until January 1st is actually when Mercury goes direct again.
Mm.
So just an FYI, okay? It's not
It's
like
funny
end of
'cause
the world.
yeah, I have been me and my buddy who we partner on some like comedy production stuff. We have been sort of pulling it back
Mhm.
and being like, all right, let's just like refocus on this and maybe push some other things off. So I don't know. We've just been doing that. We've just been doing it naturally, I guess.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, just knowing what the cycles are and how
Yeah.
they compute is if you're in tune with yourself and you kind of find your own groove,
Yeah.
knowing them all like, from like a bird's eye is not
Yeah.
necessary. It's not
I tr-
necessary.
I track my girlfriend's period for that reason.
I'm into it. Thank God. God bless you. You're not a Cancer, are you? Oh.
No,
What's your
Libra.
sun sign? What's your
Libra.
Oh, Libra. Okay. By the way, I think you guys are kind of slutty anyway. So people say
Oh,
that.
oh well, I mean, I'm definitely living that I'm definitely living that life.
Okay, yeah. So I'm actually gonna play this thing again because I just think it's funny and I think
Okay.
I think it's the best. Oh wait, maybe it won't do it for me again because I already took it off the thing, but oh, it's probably gonna break up and ruin my life, but I'm here for it. This is what being a low effort loser in terms of production
Yeah.
gets me. That I don't know if you heard.
Elise
Oh,
Edwards
oh
here.
no, oh no, oh shit. Okay, wait. We gotta start from the jump. Okay, again, for those of you who missed it, this was the video response to John Moses that I gave him after he DM'd me like 2 weekends ago at a totally appropriate time for those of you with your fucking face in the gutter. It was like 2:30 in the afternoon, and I was still fully non-operational from my night before.
Yeah.
That because my night before ended at approximately 5 a.m. that morning. So we're just talking about a matter of hours
Yeah.
before I got
Still
this
getting the
one.
full 7 though.
Was it a full 7? I don't know. I was hurting. I was hurting
Yeah.
bad. I was like, I wasn't even. I like. I definitely had functional alcohol poisoning, is what I would describe it as.
Functional alcohol poisoning. That's
But
the
I was
first time
so
I've heard that
charmed that
phrase.
you're like, when's your next DJ gig in New York? Like I want to
Yeah.
plan to come and see it. And this is literally the response that he got.
Elise Edwards here, big fan. I don't know when I'm DJing next, but I will tell you that I drank all the drinks last night and I feel awful. Also, your dick pill gas station shit makes me laugh. I will let you know when my DJ gigs are coming on, but there's also, you can always just, request me at your local club.
Yeah.
If that doesn't say low effort loser, I don't know what fucking does.
Yeah, the throw in at the end was perfect. Just request me at your local club. Like I've got any fucking pull with these weirdos.
Yeah, exactly. No, request me. I feel like the more
Yeah.
people just come forward, they're like, we need Elise, we need DJ Jouet, or we at least need discount disco. I need discount disco in my life. And they're gonna be like, what the fuck is that? And they're just gonna be like, here, just watch
There you go.
this.
You know what?
So
Every little view and every little like helps.
I agree. Um, Oh man, I don't even want to get on this key situation, so I'm going to have to address this later. But I will say, okay, so there's a little bit of an inside joke, which is that I lost my keys when I went out with Ray, like almost 2 months ago now. It was like
Uh,
it was a weekend before Halloween, And I've lost my keys, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal, except for I lost my one and only mailbox key on it, and my landlord does not have a new one, and I just found out today. So if anyone is a locksmith and wants to give me a buddy rate so that I don't have to pay $200 to replace a mailbox key that my
I was just
management
about to say,
company,
it sounds like you're about to get banged out on
I'm about to become a fucking like lock picker fucking extraordinaire is what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm like only doing contract jobs
So
right
how are you
now.
getting your mail? You just
Dude,
meeting the
I'm
mailman there?
literally sitting there with coffee and a cigarette, stalking the fucking mail guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he used to ID me at the beginning, and now he just hands me a bundle. It's so embarrassing, but also it's like it's a life that, again, I think low effort loser or no effort loser just might be my new tagline. I think I'm just gonna lean into it. I like never have to wash my hair again. Bye, bitches.
Yeah. But now I'm thinking, like, what would it take to replace that lock set yourself?
Apparently a lot. The main thing is that drilling out the current lock is the hardest part, but I'm actually interested probably because
I don't think so. I bet you there's some sort of like screw or something on the back end of it. Like if you can get at it after the mailman opens it, like just slide your hand back in there or something so he can't close it and relock it. Then you can get at the back of that lock set and just unscrew it and slide it out and replace it. But I mean, obviously, that's you got it. I don't think it would be very hard for you to keep it open, and B, I don't think that you have the wherewithal to replace that lock set. So it would be you and somebody who can waiting with the coffee and the cigarette for the mailman.
I know I have a drill, and I looked it up online, and they were basically like, you just have to make sure you have the right hardware to be able to drill through the current one to get it out. And then your mailbox is open, and then installing is not that difficult. But just to get a locksmith to show up is usually a minimum of $150 here.
I was about to say
and,
$125, right?
And that's like Queens prices. It goes up to 200 if you're in Manhattan. I know that because I am both a real estate agent and a former property manager.
Are you a real estate agent?
I am, yeah, here in New York.
Wow.
That's like a whole situation. Haven't been doing much of it recently because as people who are watching or who watch Ray know that I had a falling out with my broker, who's also my sister. So that is, I could still technically, my license is technically with her, but I've decided not to conduct business and just kind of like, anyway.
I asked because I have a inspection business in New Jersey, which is all but dead.
Oh, it's all but dead?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
just interest rates. The rates have just really put a stop. So your business probably is rentals, right?
I do mostly rentals. Yeah.
So we're purchase in Jersey, like a little bit of rental, but I'm a home inspector, so I never deal with that. So there's just no inventory because nobody wants to come off that 2.75 rate.
Right.
And rates are at like 8%. So, Jersey, I forget what the exact statistic is, but it's like a inventory across the country is at like a 15-year low. And then Jersey's one of the hardest hit states. So,
yeah. I know. My sister's not, I'm not licensed in Jersey, nor is my sister, I don't believe. Yeah. But I do know that she has a rental property there that, she, right before the rates went up, she actually took advantage. She had a rental property that was in Jersey City. That was a 2-bedroom that she'd been renting out. And, some guy approached her, some broker approached her and had been selling stuff, above market. And he was like, well, a lot of people are looking for, to buy if you want to sell. And she was like, she kind of put like a gross number that she never thought she would get. And then when that guy came back within like 5 weeks and she goes, guess I'm selling this shit.
No.
Yeah. And then she used a 1031 exchange to buy another property somewhere.
Oh, good. Where'd you buy that?
She actually bought it in Port Jervis, which that's actually New York, not New Jersey, right?
Oh, interesting. For those of you who don't know, the 1031 exchange is a tax-free exchange of property for
capital gains
value than the one that you. Yeah, that's right.
Incentive tax break. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know,
we can nerd out on some real estate on another time.
We totally can. Right now, I really want to know about this Dick Pill gas station. Sorry, I keep saying it backwards, which sounds even more hilarious to me. But What part? Also don't want to get too personal, but I do have to say that I didn't find out that you were a divorced dad until about, I don't know, like whenever I first found your gas station dick pill
Pill review.
series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
okay, so obviously a part of that, a part of what brought that on is the fact that I'm divorced.
yes.
And then the other part is erectile difficulty. No. I mean, it's not like erectile difficulty. It's just I just wanted to go longer and stronger, and because I am dating again. Although maybe if I would have put this type of effort in with my wife, we'd still be married.
Ooh, Lord. I love this quasi self accountability here. This is
There you
pretty.
go. Yeah, I've got as Taylor Swift would say, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
I love that though. I mean, also, yeah, I don't, I'm not going to qualify that, but also I'm loving it.
Yes. So whatever. But also I just thought it was a funny thing to do. And I've always sort of like, I just always thought it was like some like low level thing that really not that many people participated in, but like it's a huge industry. And almost anybody I talked to has been like, oh yeah, no, I tried it. It's like, I just can't believe how many people have actually tried gas station dick pills. And
Yeah.
some have worked and some haven't. And some people are like, oh no, I just use the active ingredient in that now. And like,
Right.
it's really starting to become a thing. So
I think you could get some major sponsorships here because you are dead right. So many people and of a really shockingly large age range have
yeah.
at some time or another invested in some gas station dick pills to enhance their performance.
And right. And it's less like erectile difficulty and it's more like enhanced performance.
Yeah.
Like people just want to
You're like, I'm
show up.
42. I would like to have a hard on like I'm 22. Like, and then
Exactly.
it's just
They want to
here.
do feature time, not guest spot time.
Right.
So
Yeah. I want some feature.
yeah.
I want to be the headliner. I want to be
Yeah,
the
yeah.
headliner.
I mean, headline's a long time. I don't know.
If these, yeah,
45 minutes sounds like a long time.
well, you give headliner energy. Okay. I don't
Give
know.
headliner energy.
You give big headliner energy, which is
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. I guess if you throw crowd work in as foreplay, then yeah, we can get to 45.
Yeah.
So
How many people are in the room when you're doing these things?
yes. So it's funny because my girlfriend now is a doctor and she's like, I can just prescribe Cialis. And I'm like, nah, what's the fun in that though? Really?
Yeah, no one wants, don't go Cialis. I'm loving the rating of the gas station dick pills. That is super
because
important.
like this is like the people that are gonna like find this. I mean, listen, maybe I want it to be funny, but also like a little bit useful, maybe. And the people who are gonna use this is the people who don't have health insurance or just don't have a script of Cialis handy. It's midnight and they're going somewhere and they got to stop at the gas station. So it's like maybe they'll be like, oh yeah, I shouldn't use the Gold Rhino 4600. I'll use the Black Samurai X.
Right.
Because I'm a big proponent of the Black Samurai X.
Okay. Black Samurai X. You heard it here first, folks. This is where it's happening. That's where the magic's at. Something that I did notice from your is that they almost all of them give you a headache, essentially.
Yes. Yes.
So does that mean that they're working, or do they give you a headache regardless of if they end up working well or
It's
not?
funny because there was one that didn't give me a headache and that did not work. Like it just did nothing. I think there might have been one that gave a headache and didn't really do the job, but it seems like so far the headache is just part and parcel. Like you need it's just a part. It's the part of doing business. Just get ready for a 30-minute headache.
Wow.
You got to pay the toll,
Do you think that might be like almost like psychosomatic or something? Like, now that it happens so often, like your body's just, okay, I'm going to have a headache regardless of what you put in my mouth here. And then
it's possible. I'm such a mental weakling.
oh no.
Oh
Okay.
God. Like I'm so open to suggestion. Like when COVID first hit, I was just a mess. I was like, do I have it? Do I have it? Like I was always exhibiting symptoms, and I think this is COVID this time. I was a mess. So yes, it's quite possible that it's psychosomatic with me.
Okay. Well, again, the self-awareness is really, what do you call that? Refreshing.
I'm nothing if not self-aware, maybe to a fault.
I love it. So I just want to let you know that you do have a lot of solidarity here in the chat.
Yes.
This is Beloved Chatter, one of my favorites, actually my actual favorite, but also one of
Nice.
my other favorites. Like he's both like at the top, and then also he's part of a larger group of favorites simultaneously. You can be
Yeah.
both and. I don't know if you knew that.
Couple
And you,
categories. Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, divorce dads unite. I feel you, Moses. I love
Thank
that.
you.
I also like the using of the last name. That makes
Yeah,
it
yeah. We're there already.
it feels like a team pep talk or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I'm just happy that you're leaning into the gas station dick pill something. I'm glad that you're not relying on the Bay to be giving you scripts of Cialis. I'm pretty, I
Yeah.
don't know. There's other ways around it, I think.
Yeah. And it's just fun. I mean, who wants to like, we know Cialis works. What's the fun in that? You know what I mean? Like it's the whole fun is, does this particular thing work? And am I going to have a heart attack? There's also a little gamble involved in some of this stuff, you know?
It's kind of like taking an e-pill back in the day, you know?
Yes.
It's like a mixed bag. Like I'm either gonna have the best time of my life or I'm gonna literally end up in the infirmary. Like who knows?
I was just last night, I was telling a couple people about like an ecstasy story, and they were just looking at me because they didn't understand, right? They're like, oh, but you know, I was taking it like late 90s, early 2000s, and it was all like, you know, garbage being pressed by bikers or something. And I think I took like a couple of Big Macs. I guess that like for the moment, like Big Macs were the buzz in Toronto. So I had taken like 3, and maybe it was speed or something, who knows? But uh we went back to like this couple's hotel room, me and my buddy, because it feels like a good idea when you're at the club and you're vibing, but
Of
then
course.
like the hotel lights or the sunlight or something hits you, and it's an awful idea. The after party after the club is almost always an awful idea in those ecstasy days. So we're back at the hotel, and I'm just tripping out of my fucking mind. I was in the corner of their hotel room dancing by myself like a video game stuck on repeat, and they were like, hey man, like maybe you should get your buddy out of here.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that definitely had some meth in it for sure.
oh, and I think that was the one where I was like up for 3 days, you know,
Oh, that's bad.
writing my family like my death letter, you know, like I loved you all.
That's definitely meth. And Toronto has a lot of meth, from what I've been told. Plus there's
Yeah,
dead
I
mouse.
mean, we're talking.
Dead mouse. That who had a dead mouth until he got money to fix his teeth.
Oh,
Um,
did he? Oh.
but yeah,
That's we thought the mask was some big like creative thing. He was just so ashamed of his mouth. He was like, how do I cover this thing up? You know?
yeah. How do I hide the fact that I'm actually just a tweaker and I don't
Oh my
DJ? I'm just
God.
playing songs that I've pre-recorded. But you know, he also does Ableton Live, and he was a huge proponent of using that software to produce and DJ live. You know, do it both
Cool.
ends. So I'm not
Yeah,
gonna be
that's
mad
cool.
at you, Joel, even though I hear that you're kind of a dick. But you know, you're good at what you
Mhm.
do. So I guess we all just, you know, take that L and we're just like, well, I hope you're not a predator. That's like basically all we can ask for nowadays. It's pretty sad. I love this for you. And also, I also felt like you know, not to be like more feel that I'm more important than I am to you or in your life, but I could have sworn that if you, because you said that, oh, I used to rave back
Yeah.
in my, you know, when I lived in Canada,
Yeah.
and you were like, you know, when my kid is grown up, you know, I'm gonna check you, like, see about this rave scene, like where are the rave scenes at now? And I was like, dude, I'm waiting for it. I'm excited.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what the rave scene is like, but you
So
know,
this summer, I was like, you know, my divorce bucket list was I'm gonna go to Music Week in Miami.
okay.
And then I decided to throw a comedy festival as my midlife crisis instead. So I didn't do that. But
Oh,
and that's actually the logo behind me, which is also my front curtain.
and what is it called? It's called
Red Bank Comedy Festival.
Red Bank Comedy Festival. Oh, so in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Yeah, yeah. So so I was like, I'm gonna go to a music week in Miami. And I
Mhm.
didn't do that. And then
Okay.
but I'm a big ABGT fan and listen to those Above and Beyond
Okay, yeah.
and listen to those guys a lot. And they were like, oh, we're gonna be at Brooklyn Mirage.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, this summer I'm going to Brooklyn Mirage.
Mhm.
And I ended up like not really knowing what I was doing the first time, went to the Lion's Den, which was like the after party,
Mm-hmm.
which was totally in and of itself awesome, but
Okay.
not the main stage. And then I also went on like a boat cruise around Manhattan where they were spinning some stuff, which was cool. And but I never did get to like Brooklyn Mirage main stage. And now because of like the people dying and getting murdered around there, I'm worried that they're going to shut it down for next summer and I'm not going to get a chance to actually experience it.
Oh, you're fine. Please let me point you in the direction of things that you'll actually enjoy, that you
Yeah.
will have minimal, you'll put yourself in minimal peril in terms of the crime rate increasing. And also making sure, like, I don't want to, because one of the bits of yours that I've seen since you've become this newly divorced dad comic is the thing about being at the gym and be like not realizing your age or
Oh
whatever
yeah.
until you're like, I don't know if you want to tell it, but I don't want to butcher it. Or
Yeah,
we
I
can
mean,
just send.
like that's a time when I get reminded of my age. Like when I look at women in the gym and they look at me back and they're like young women, I'll be like, oh, dude. And I'm like,
They're
oh,
like,
that's right.
stop searing holes through my ass. Like I can
Yes,
feel your
please.
lecherous stare. And you're like, what? Huh?
Yeah,
You want my
right.
number? And they're like, no, I'm going to call the
Yeah.
police.
Yeah, your number, you old fuck. Like you don't even do that anymore, you know.
Well, you get my vote for divorced dad. So just
Well,
keep
thank you.
looking. You are the least creepy person at the gym as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, there you go. I'll
You
take
really
it.
are. Oh my gosh. I really can't even, at least I'm not going to the same gym that I was when I lived in Brooklyn. That was just the worst. And I go to Planet Fitness, so it's like not
Same,
I'm not
same,
going.
same.
Oh good. You're a Planet Fitness person too?
Man, I love a black card and like being able to travel. Like if I got a couple locations in Toronto when I'm visiting my family, I can go there, work out. If I'm on the road, when I'm on the road, I can pop into a Planet Fitness. It's just too convenient, you know?
It's too convenient. Why would I want to go to Blink or, Washington Sports Club or some shit?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
When I can, like, I know that I have like 90,000 toilets and massage chairs across the nation, across like you said, Canada too. So across the
Honestly,
North
like
America.
how many times I've been in New York and I've been like, ooh, let me slide into this Planet Fitness real quick.
1,000. I mean, because it's
That Chinatown Planet Fitness, ooh, perfect.
you have blown it up more times than you can count.
Yeah. I'll put I was with my kid once. I threw her in the massage chair for 5 minutes. I was like, don't move.
Perfect. That's like, so bless you, Planet Fitness. Maybe I'll be
Yes.
looking out for a sponsorship there. I've driven a lot of business to Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
I'm actually still technically a member of the club that I joined in Virginia. I never relocated. So I know. And sometimes they're like, oh, you're a black card, but you only have 10 reciprocal uses away from your home club. And then some people like don't even stop and
please.
check. Yeah.
I've
So
never
I
even
just
heard of
like,
that.
you guys either need to get on the same page or you need to just shut the
Yeah,
fuck
like
up.
how is that even a thing? Like Virginia's got some weird Planet Fitness law that only allows you 10 out of states.
It may have been because I was grandfathered in at like an old rate and now they're more
Oh,
about
that's
it
it.
because they want to up your monthly whatever. I'm like, guys, have you installed anything new or revolutionary or, are you
Right.
offering like, high intensity interval training
Is
classes that I need to
is
know about?
anybody even using tanning beds anymore?
I don't know. I get scared even just to like stretch out near one. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, I still want kids, and I've done a lot of stuff that would already
Yeah.
make them coming out with all 10 toes and 10 fingers.
Yeah, or just coming out period. How about that?
Exactly, all of those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, not like the worst. I do love that. Oh, it's not necessarily aging me, but Party Girl from 1995, maybe 93. I don't know if you ever saw that movie with Parker Posey, but
No.
when she throws like a party close to the end of the movie and she gets pissed off and she just like, since it's her party, she kicks everyone out of the way of the drug dealer. And she was like, I want something that's going to make my future children be grown with gills or like Papa, like, be born with gills. And then the next thing you see, it's her dancing to D Light's Music Selectors, a Soul Reflector, which is a great song. But yeah, I'm excited for your return to the rave scene, or at least
Me
the
too. And listen, I was totally like one of the old guys at the club.
oh,
When
really?
I went to Brooklyn Mirage, like the Lion's Den or whatever the hell it was, I was totally fine with it. I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah. No, there that's how you know it's like that it's a good time. And when someone
By the
comes to
way,
a good show.
stone cold sober also.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that may have been new because I don't know. I mean, that may have been you may have been the oldest person there and also the
And
only
this
sober
also the
person.
soberest. It's just like a fucking like a high school chaperone, you know?
Oh, that feels
Who's the
awkward.
cop? You get to his
Oh,
pupils aren't even dilated, you know?
I could definitely see that. Yeah, like who's the cop? But I don't know. I just I pick and choose. I like to be inside. I say that I only go out when I'm paid to, or if it's somebody that I was like,
I
oh, they're coming to town. They never come to town. Let me go.
right.
You know, or
Yeah.
like supporting friends. But even then, that gets like,
I
ugh,
just don't have the time and bandwidth to be like the super fan or anything like that. But I do like to go out and
have a good
like
time.
my girlfriend dragged me to a lounge the other day. She's like, it's a work after party. And I was like, ah, it's 11 o'clock. And then
PM.
yeah. And I was just like just being like old and miserable. And
Oh man.
and I got there and like the DJ was playing like a bunch of house stuff or EDM, whatever. I don't even know what the hell he was playing, but it was stuff that I grooved to.
Hmm.
And I was just there like having a good old time. And she's like, oh, you're really enjoying yourself. It's like if I would have known it was this music, you wouldn't have had to twist my arm,
Wow.
you know.
Yeah, because you never know what you're gonna find. You might,
Well,
you
also I
know.
just didn't want to go to a bar. Like it's a work party. If I'm gonna go to a bar and just like be iced out of all of your, your work conversations and not know anything, and then every once in a while you touch my leg and be like, "Are you having a good time? Are you okay?" Like, I don't want to do that, you know. But if
No.
there's a dance floor and they're playing some music that I, would want to dance to anyway, I would have done it anyway. I've done
Yeah.
it, I could have done that by myself and had a good time. So sure, I'll do it, you know.
Oh, I love that. I'm glad that the when the DJ keeps it real for you,
Yeah.
that's what we mean by like the vibe. The vibe is important, you
Hmm.
know? How many times have you gone to a restaurant that you or your girlfriends or someone wants to try, and then you get there and everything's good except for the music that they're playing. You're like, "Wow, this is killing my vibe. I hate
Oh
it."
God. Never
Also
mind that.
to
If it's like a live band and it's too loud and they stink, I'm like, you know what? I'm out.
I know. I've only gotten more finicky and like, like God, this sound system sucks. I also feel that same way about like comedy clubs. I'm like, I haven't gone back to Greenwich Village Comedy Club, which, I
Mm.
used to like performing there. But I was like, did they ever fix their PA system? Because
Oh,
and it's like, and my last report was no. And I was like, I guess I feel like now that I'm doing more DJing than I am comedy, I'm like, now this
mm.
is an offense that I cannot look past. I'm like, that
Yes.
is maximally like maybe a $200 fix right there. Like this is
Yes. This
and
is your business. Do you care so minimally about the people you're serving and the artists or the comics that are performing that you can't even replace the mic cord? You know?
exactly. It's like just a mic cord. I was
Yeah,
like, I'm pretty sure that,
yeah, like the
you're
wiggly mic cord that the what
that
$80
would
mic
be such a
cover your
flex.
bases, you know?
I should be like, "Hey, I haven't performed here since 2019, but here's an XLR,
Yeah,
to XLR, I brought my own mic cord,
yeah.
so I do plan on dropping in to this show right now. You can keep the
Yeah.
mic cord after.
Yeah.
That's a flex. I'm loving this for me. Good. I'm writing this down. This is how I come correct post quarantine, post COVID.
Yeah.
How is the comedy scene out in do you I know that you also tour, but are you mostly local to New Jersey?
I mean, sort of like Northeast stuff,
Right, okay.
like, I don't know if PA is considered Northeast, but like Jersey, PA,
Oh,
New
yeah, for
York,
sure, but
Connecticut, Massachusetts, like New England, stuff like that. So,
right.
but yeah, New Jersey's fine. I get up a little bit in Jersey. I poke
Okay.
into the city a bit, get up in Jersey a bit. I mean, I'm not doing any of it as much as I want to, but
Other things take precedence. Plus, I think
yeah,
having a
I got,
comedy are you doing the comedy festival again?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We're gonna do it again this year, or sorry, 2024.
Mhm.
Um, but probably fall of 2024. We were gonna do it in the spring, but I just decided to push it all back. Um,
I like that. I think fall's a better time for it.
yeah, it was a good time, but literally just made that decision last week. So this is really lining up with your conversation about about like, circle back, sort of like go over the things that you're already planning as opposed to new business, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's the perfect time for these next 3 weeks. You can really consider, the pros and cons of it, and then you can announce when Mercury goes direct on the 1st, or you probably want to wait till the 2nd. But that way, you will have actually utilized the energy of the time in the most, supportive way. But I like this idea of the fall one, because
Yeah,
that's
me
when
too.
people come back into town and stuff like that.
Yeah, and this is Jersey's great in the fall.
Ooh, I don't know if I don't know about that. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know the last time I was in. That's not true. I was just in Jersey City, but that's not like Jersey. It's kind of like an annex part of New York now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like a lot of people base their whole opinion of the state of New Jersey based on like Newark and the surrounding towns, and there's a lot more to it, people.
There's so much more to it. I didn't even realize, I had no idea about the north of New Jersey for the longest time, because I'm from Virginia originally. So, we were doing like Cape May. My mom used to take us to Jersey City, or Ocean City, New Jersey. We would do like a few nights in Ocean City, have like the family time. And then we would go across
Jump on the ferry,
Atlantic City, and my mom would, give us money to go away and leave her to gamble in peace. And
love it.
oh man, it was.
How old were you guys when that was happening?
Oh, it was repeated. It was every single year. I'm from Virginia. I've still never been to Virginia Beach, because we always vacationed in New Jersey or Maryland or North Carolina to go to the beach. So that happened all the time. I remember probably the earliest I remember was like when I was like 4 or 5. I remember getting pickpocketed on the New Jersey boardwalk when I was like 9. That's in Atlantic City, of course. And then my sister's 10 years older than I am. So around the time and she had finally turned 21, I was like 11 and she was 21. And so she was finally old enough to be able to like to go and interfere on the actual casino floor with my mother. Because before, if my mom walked out of eye's reach, she was just gone, and we couldn't step off of the red carpet. Because if you do, like, basically an alarm goes off, or like 2 big bouncers are like, all right, no, Yeah. So I have like kind of like a weird,
the bouncers are like, don't let the kids remind the parents of how much they're losing and their responsibilities,
That's exactly what it is. And even like the psychology of the casino, I remember I was so anesthetized to it by the time I was old enough. My mom was like, why don't you bring a friend? Because now my sister and my brother were gone. And I was 15 years old, and I brought my friend Alice to Atlantic City, and she could not believe what was happening. She goes, I would love to do like a psych experiment in here, because she realized how the air quality was different, how you turn and you think you're going to meet an exit, and instead you break, like it takes you to like a whole nother hall of blackjack tables and slot machines. And she was
one more chance to get your money if you're like exhausted and on the way out.
Yeah, it's like meant to keep you in there. It's like a fucked up fun house, And so I was like, oh, really? I had no idea. This is a way out, It's like as of how many times I had been in Bally's or been in Caesars. But we also faked English accents and went to a nightclub with some blue-eyed Jersey boys. And I was like, how can they think? I don't know. I think they were just willingly suspending their disbelief. I do have a very good English accent. But I also had braces at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like everything about my story, everything about my appearance was like not matching my story or my dialect at the time. So Ned Sheckler, which are you formerly known as Franklin Sheckler, Virginia Beach, greater than Ocean City, Maryland. Everything is better than Ocean City, Maryland. Let me just say, Ocean City, New Jersey. I don't know. It has a special place in my heart.
My kid has been going to casinos since she's maybe 18 months old.
Oh wow, yeah.
Because I was getting shows there. Like I'd have a weekend there, and at the time, her and my wife would come. And I'd be milling her about in like one of these, like, like basically like the Barbie Corvette or something, right? Like whatever, or some equivalent, but it would be like a car that you push the kid around. And like so many parents were like, oh my God, that's so cool. And then the next time I went to that casino, I saw other parents pushing the same thing. And I was like, I know I started that trend. I know I started that trend.
Nice.
And then during COVID, I got like almost like a residency. But anyway, I was while the rest of the world was shut down, I was going to Foxwoods, and I was there like once or twice a month,
Nice.
headlining awful shows. The shows were awful.
Oh no.
But the accommodations were great.
Right.
And we were, running around the casino, and there at Foxwoods, they have an outlet mall like attached to the casino. So she would just be running around. We'd be playing the arcades. Like the arcades for kids are training them to be future gamblers.
Yeah.
Because they're paying for credits that they go and get the cash in for like the awful Chuck E. Cheese prizes. But she would just be like, no, forget the video game or the challenge game. Just let me pull the lever for a chance to win the most tickets.
Right.
So she's 4, like basically gambling my money. And we would love going to the casino for the weekend. But then we got divorced and that gig went away, and we haven't been to the casino. And she was like, just the other day, she's like, oh, Dad, I really miss going to the casino. And I just got a gig at MGM in Springfield in the fall or in the spring. And it's my custody weekend, so we're going back to the casino.
Nice. Oh my gosh, she's gonna be so pumped. I remember feeling the same way, be like, oh, we haven't been to X, Y, and Z for a while. But then I would remember that the lifespan of that excitement was really short, because at a certain point we would have done both casinos or both, arcades and the go-karts across the pier and everything, like we're sitting here, we're like waiting in the lobby with like 2 pounds of fudge and a fucking enormous, stuffed animal, and just all like maxed out on everything else we can do. And our mother would finally like show up and just like hand us another like $40 each, and we'd just get lost, I'll see you at dinner. And we'd be like, what the fuck? And none of us were old enough to like actually go on the floor and be able to do it. So then, like I said, my sister eventually got to go and like reel her in.
How much of those experiences shaped you in your life right now?
Every single one of them. And then my brother was like, the last stand, because he's 6 years older than I am. And then I had a nice long time before I was like allowed to go on the floor. But before, but I was still vacationing with my mother. And so one of the things was getting into my own shit with it, at 15 with my 16-year-old friend, and going to a nightclub and, coming in, having a run. I don't know how it even lasted running barefoot on the Atlantic City boardwalk. Like I should definitely at least have Hep C at this point, but unfortunately I don't.
Yeah, but you don't, and your immune system is stronger for it.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, actually, I'm speaking of George Carlin. I was about to be like, yeah, we swam in shit, that George Carlin bit. But I actually got to see George Carlin like the year before he died at Caesars in Atlantic City. So I mean, I've seen some amazing people for probably because my mom spent so much money at the fucking casino.
Oh yeah, they're just constantly funneling her tickets and everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I got to see Tony Bennett. I saw George Carlin. Like
nice. Me and my buddy bought an Airbnb down in Atlantic City.
No way.
Yeah, we love it.
Oh, that's rad.
And I love Atlantic City for all those reasons. You know what I mean? It's like you can go down, see top-notch entertainment, then you can go and people watch on the boardwalk and watch people get knifed and stuff.
Yeah, there's a whole different, and I actually didn't tune in to see Ray's recap of his most recent Atlantic City soiree with Kevin Brennan and everyone. But
nice.
He was saying that I think they were at like the Borgata or the Harrah's, one of the ones that are off the boardwalk. And I'm like, oh, well, that's a whole different population of people.
Oh yeah, Borgata's at the boardwalk. Yeah.
This is like, that's like, you got to have like, first off, your own transportation or rely on the casino's transportation.
I think Harrah's at the boardwalk too. Both of them, they might be connected. But that actually, I think probably does you better. You don't have like the ghoulies wandering in so much,
But that's part of the fun. If you're not there to gamble, the other thing that you can do is just sit back and look at the riffraff and the woman who looks like your old, like her elementary school recess lady, playing nickel slots next to this guy who definitely just like, did a bit upstate. It's like a whole, it's just like everyone.
Oh yeah, like you're definitely getting that vibe at Bally's. You're definitely getting that vibe at Tropicana,
Exactly. And also I feel like when Trump put his name in for president, I remember being like, I've known who Donald Trump is since I was like 5 years old, and he's always been a running joke because of how much time I spent in Atlantic City. I didn't know anything else about him.
Yeah.
I just knew that Trump had his name on everything, and he was a huge, enormous, like running joke just from anyone who'd spent any time in Atlantic City. It's like, wait, how many hotels have you built and have gone under and
ran into the ground, right?
Yeah, and like Miss America or whatever, Miss America University is like up the street. It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
I was at the Showboat there for a weekend, and the Showboat had lost their gambling license. Like, I don't know what you got to do to lose your gambling license
in Atlantic City,
but it sounds it's probably pretty bad. So it was just operating as a hotel and sleazy, right? So we had a show there. The shows were awful. And I told my wife at the time and my kid, I was like, oh, you guys should come down. And she goes, no, it's Atlantic City. It's going to be like seedy. And I was like, nah. So I went down there. I did one show. I was like, guys, like, honestly, it's not that bad. Like, just let me, I'll drive back up an hour, pick you up, bring you down. So we do that. And then as soon as I get my family there, like all of a sudden I was seeing more clearly, like, you know, old white guys with young Vietnamese women. And I was like, oh man, how did I miss all of this last night?
Yeah.
You know, we get to the room and the whole floor is like a goddamn party, you know? But it's, another one of those experiences. That's part of the reason why my kid loves casinos and why she's probably going to be a DJ.
Yeah. I mean,
that is my goal. That is my goal, financially, is to make enough money where my kid can go and be a DJ.
I love this. Well, get her started on the actual DJ equipment now, early. Yeah. I don't know if you have any, but
no.
When I upgrade, I can give her mine. I can give her my Newmark controller.
Yeah. I got when COVID was happening, we got like an app, like a Beatmaker app.
Mm-hmm.
And she was having fun screwing around with that. But then what happens? They want to renew, and Daddy was a little broke. Oh,
do you have an iPad?
Yeah.
You can just get like DJ Mixer, and they can just pull MP3s or anything you have in your music library, so that you can at least kind of learn to beat match that way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think it's a free app. I think you only need to pay if you want to use effects or be able to pull from a streaming service as opposed to music that you have locally.
And it's called DJ Mixer?
Yeah, I think it's called, just look at DJ app, and then there's something called like DJ Mixer. Just like look at one of the free ones. I first found out about it when I worked at Apple, like literally 100 years ago. So I was surprised to see it was still around.
Oh, cool.
And also, the first time I went to Atlantic City, not with my mom, I actually was going up for my boyfriend at the time's DJ gig, and they put us in a hotel called like the Dark Horse or something like that.
Yeah,
have you ever heard of this place called the Dark Horse?
I think so.
It is like a swingers hotel.
I have not heard of the Dark Horse.
It is
I take it back.
It is doing the same thing, like layout wise, what for getting it in, on a sexual level, what the hotels are doing to you in terms of like having this circuitous way around to finally find an exit, but instead you've hit up 5 other floors of gambling on your way out. This hotel was doing the exact same thing. It had like doors with faulty locks, and like you thought you were and like everything was very disorienting, to the point where you thought you would be exiting a door, or like you were opening a closet and you were actually opening a door into the hotel room next door. It was like, lose your keys, lose your wife, find 5 other people. And by the way, like most of the hotel rooms had like a hot tub in it or something.
Sure, of course.
But we got really fucked up. And at the end of the night, I was like, I'm so done with everything. I put the deadbolt on the door, and something brought me out of that apartment, or out of the room. And then our friend, and then when we tried to get back in, we couldn't get back in. And we were like, we thought these were faulty locks. What the fuck? And then the guy who was like working the night desk had to call the manager, and the manager's like, no, we actually don't have any keys on the premise if you deadbolted the door. So I was the party pooper, and I was like, I don't care. This sucks. I wasn't here to swing. I have my computer. Our friend has like a bunch of, like $500 worth of records and stuff like that in his in the hotel room. Our friend who was a drug dealer at the time just paid cash for another hotel room, and all three of us slept in it.
So
That's what happened.
And your equipment was just stuck there till the morning?
Yeah, but it was after the gig. Now
Right.
now we were at the after party and like kind of going in and going out, and like
Yeah.
we weren't there for the swinger thing, but we were like, we can only imagine what this place is like during the on season, because this was a gig in the off season and they had cheap prices, and that's why the club put him
That's
up
why
there.
they fucking stuck you there, right?
Oh my God. But everything, I was like, dude, I'm gonna need to wear a biohazard suit to be on this bed.
I did a swingers convention, like a show at a swingers convention, and they were like, there's 3 comics, all dudes, and they brought us in, and they're like, listen, we're gonna bring you here. You stay in this room until showtime. We will walk you down the hall. Like, you're not gonna be going around nailing anybody. And at the time, like, me and one of the other comics were like, yeah, fine, like, no problem, dude. Like, what do you think we are? But the third comic was like foaming at the mouth. Like, he was just so horny. He was like walking by rooms, like trying to reach in and everything. And then we had to drag him out the door to leave. So, I mean, I get it.
Wow. Oh no. That one guy just ruining it for all of you.
Yeah. And then it's funny because that was years ago. And then I was at a show, in Jersey, and a woman comes up to me. She goes, "Are you John Moses?" I go, "Oh, yeah." And she goes, "Oh, we did that swingers convention." And like the lady, you look at them and you're like, this is somebody's very old aunt. Like, is this still your phone number? And I'm like, no, that's like somebody in Massachusetts. So like, that person has had that phone number, like just constantly getting weird texts from comics and producers and bookers, and now like a swingers convention that wanted to rebook me,
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that reminds me of like the keeping you kind of quarantined from the rest of the action.
That was it, right?
Reminds me of when I was a production assistant for the Produced By Festival, or Produced By Conference in New York, and Harvey Weinstein was the speaker the first time that they ever held it on the East Coast. And basically only the 2 guys who ran the company, of us PAs that we were, I don't know what you call them. We're technically called escorts, which doesn't sound good for this, in this context, yes. But we're escorting the people who are panelists, speakers, yada, 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 escorting them through everything, away from people, making sure that they get to their green room, if they have to do press before their appearance, all that kind of stuff. But Harvey Weinstein was like the one person that he was like, the head of the company was like, it's either me or my brother that are going to be his handlers, no one else. Wow. And I was like, wow, that's pretty extreme, seeing as, he had people that, some of them had professional security jobs, that have, they've basically been like, auxiliary to like a Secret Service detail and stuff like that, or they've been, they've handled people bigger than Harvey Weinstein. I didn't realize why it was only 2 straight dudes, then in suits. Right. We don't even want to get him near the lady who is in her 60s and is like a professional stage manager for like Juilliard.
That was my next question, but you answered it. Was that to protect you, or was that to cater to his needs? Like, here's a prostitute, Harvey.
No, it was to cater. It was to protect us.
Right.
Because like the other biggest VIP that year was like Jake Gyllenhaal. And it was like, okay, we have people, whatever to him, like, what do you call it? Assigned to him. Yeah. But if someone has to move away, someone just know where he has to go next, more of that team player element.
Right.
But I was really, I was very confused as to why Harvey Weinstein had this very like, no, we're just going to get him in there and no one touches him, talks to him, does anything.
And it's also clear now.
Yeah. And like probably like a year and a half later is when Me Too happened. So
yeah.
Ugh,
here's a good celebrity Me Too story.
Good.
This was probably the last time I ever played at the Cellar. So I'm pulling up, and I notice, I'm a big Mad Men fan at the time. Mad Men's on TV, and it's like, it's like one of the hottest shows on TV. And I saw, was it John Slattery? Whoever, you look like a Mad Men fan.
Yeah,
okay.
I know working
Got
into.
it. So like the guy who plays Roger Sterling, that was my favorite character in the show, right? And I was like, oh look, I go, is that Roger Sterling? I go, whatever. I park, I'm walking to the club, and then somebody like upstairs is like whispering, they're like, oh my God, John Hamm's here. And I was like, oh. And I had just heard John Hamm on the WTF podcast the week before. I was like, oh man, I love comedy. So I'm like simultaneously fangirling, but thinking like, this is it. He's going to see me rip and I'm going to be on Mad Men like next season.
Right.
Like this is how this works. And I'm like calling my wife, like, you're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe it. I'm up next. So like he's seeing me. And so I'm waiting to go on stage and I look over and John Hamm motions a waitress to come over. The waitress comes over. John Hamm reaches up, grabs her by the back of her head and pulls her in and whispers his order into her ear. Right.
What?
And I was like, whoa. Me too. And I was like, whoa. So I go up on stage and fucking bomb. And the reason I bomb is because the guy who John Hamm is with is drunk and won't stop heckling. But they won't ask him to shut up because he's with John Hamm. Meanwhile, any other time, if you fart in there, they would be like, hey man, you're disrupting the show. Get the hell out of here. Right.
Right.
So he's heckling. Normally, I love a heckler. I love fucking destroying hecklers. But I'm just so nervous because it's the cellar. So I eat it. I go off stage. I'm like, I'm pissy about it. I go upstairs. I see the waitress and she's like, oh, hey. And she goes, you see John Hamm down there? I said, yeah. She goes, did you see what happened? I go, yeah. She goes, that was the hottest thing that's ever happened to me.
Oh no.
I guess it's a big difference if you're being inappropriate. You look like Harvey Weinstein versus John Hamm,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. See, that's you never know.
Right. I mean, listen, I'm sure if John Hamm was beaten off in front of her,
right,
it would be quite a different thing. But
But he was John Hamm. He was having a moment, and she was just like, "Oh my God, I almost got
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh man, that
hung
was
down by John Hamm."
Oh yeah. She wanted that to go the distance.
Oh Lord. But man, I feel like you need to make that statement. You said it was the last time you were at the cellar. Do you feel like you bombing that night is the reason it was the last time you were at the cellar?
I think it was a contributing factor. There's probably a couple of factors there,
And you couldn't identify the person he was with?
No, I saw them outside. I was like, man, why didn't I just so first of all, I should have just like handled him immediately and then ran John Hamm out of there if that was the worst case.
Yeah.
But then secondly, I was like, I should have at least kicked the shit out of the guy at the end. So I could have gotten at least a mention.
Right.
in the New York Post, because the day after it was page 6, John Hamm, seen in the Village, going to comedy,
Yeah. I definitely would have just called out and be like, dude, just because you're sitting next to John Hamm doesn't mean that you can fucking be a total dildo during my set.
Anything. Yeah. Hey, John Hamm, you mind keeping a wrap over your buddy there? Oh, literally any acknowledgement other than what happened would have been better,
I hate that. That's when it's the worst. And it's always all everything that you wish you could have said, all of a sudden your throat opens up again after you've left, and I don't know. So I
still get that. Even when I handle a situation as expertly and get laughs, I still, as soon as I get out, I was like, oh, there's those 3 more lines that I could have used right there if I had a time machine.
Tags on tags on tags.
Tags on tags on tags.
Oh gosh, that really is that's just the worst. Yeah, I feel like it's weird that that you bring up Me Too. No, I was like, it's weird. I've heard Me Too more this morning than I have in a long time, because after listening to something on YouTube, Whitney Cummings with Olivia Munn came on there, and I didn't realize Olivia Munn's whole backstory in terms of Me Too and calling someone out and doing this kind of stuff. And I didn't know anything about it, but it was just this is obviously a terrible something just to bring up out of nowhere, because I'm not going anywhere with it. But yeah, I think I may have been, I've been almost Me Too'd. This is where it gets weird, is that I think I may have been asked to go back to a director's hotel room, but it was after they had already we had dinner together. Okay. We had worked on a few things. And then before they left the East Coast, they were like, can I take you out for birthday dinner. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's like so nice. And so it was really nice of them. And then they were saying that, oh, I have all this weed that I can't go back to I can't get on my flight with. And I was like, I will take that off your hands. And so there was some mentions about like going back to the hotel. And I'm thinking the entire time about like getting a free sack of weed. I was like, this is the best birthday ever. Not only am I having this like amazing conversation, a bottle of Vouv, like all this kind of stuff. And it never went any further. Like we shared a car to a certain place, but I said something that was like, oh, I'm just going back for the weed. And they were like, oh, okay. And then I was like, I can just get out here. And then I like took a picture with them and I jumped out of the car and I left. And it wasn't until like Me Too was a thing that I was like, and people were like, have you ever had like stuff like that happen? I was like, no, I'm kind of scary. I'm kind of scary. Everyone thinks I'm like a flirt. And I even had on a grip on the set of House of Cards was like, we call you Two Martini Girl. And I was like, why do you call me Two Martini Girl? And they're like, because you seem like you'd be a lot of fun after 2 martinis. I was like, bitch, I don't seem like I'm fun now. I was like, come on. I was like, you guys are stupid. But also the same guy who told me, he was like, don't sleep with any of the whatever. He's like, it's a great, don't sleep with any of the grips or, whatever. He's like, it's a great way to sleep your way to the bottom,
Oh, yeah, right. He was like, like the expression "fuck up,"
Yeah, fuck up for sure. Yeah. But I'm just too. I'm very principled in a way, and I'm a big believer in. I know. Well, my belief is blowjobs are for fun, not favor.
Yeah,
So like you can't blow someone that you wouldn't blow anyway because of in exchange for something else. It has to start with you being like, I already know that I would give you a blowjob.
Yeah. Right. So Harvey Weinstein's out.
Yeah, don't ruin your integrity. You can't crying game shower it off of you later. There's you're paying first. Also, like I said, like a drug transaction, like you're never going to give your money to them before you get the drugs in your hand. Mm-hmm.
Was there anybody who you were like, yeah, I'm going to fuck this guy? And then he fucked it up with some like sleazy shit. And you're like, you idiot. I would have fucked you anyway, but you just blew it.
Definitely 100%. But it hasn't been in terms of like someone with power.
Right.
Also, I'm also the person that everyone tells their secrets to. So for instance, this on one set, I found out that this producer, there's 2 producers and I was like, one, I would definitely do. And then the other one, I was like, maybe not. And then I had found out that these 2 girls that were way younger than me had actually gone to some place with them. And the younger of the 2 ended up sleeping with the one that was like 50-50. And the other one had an opportunity to sleep with the one that was like actually hot. Yeah. But then she was like, I'm not really into it. And it was like, fine, And then everyone like found out like the next day that homegirl had like gone into home guy's room. And I was like, oh, you would like, I don't know. It's just, it's just gross. I'm the one that sleeps like with the person on the bottom. I'm like, no, I want that guy that looks like a fucking lumberjack. The guy, the guy in electrics, who is like tatted up and whatever. And he probably has, like two ex-wives and 4 baby mamas, and he's just keeping this. He's working overtime in his union job just to make ends meet after all that. After all that, and I'm still the one that's like, what? Bend me over?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I mean, without a position of power, I know I've talked my way out of so many women's pants. Like, God, if you just would have shut the fuck up, dude, this would have ended so much differently for you.
It's where the listening comes in.
Yes.
It's where the nonverbal cues.
My buddy, I'm like, dude, you have listened your way into so much pussy. I don't know how you do it. And he's just like, and just laughing and laughing and laughing. I mean, but he like legitimately is a good listener,
That's what we want. We're like, okay, it's like, oh, you're ready to receive me intellectually, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm ready to receive you carnally,
I'm waiting for my opportunity to tell a story that's going to totally horrify them. Like, oh, let me say this. Like, I'm just waiting for her to stop talking so I can interject with my shit that's going to ruin it,
Well, that's probably your comedy brain. That's the worst part about the comedy brain is you're just waiting to just say the next thing,
Yes.
But it's okay. I believe in you. And it sounds like, you got a good gal, on your side. I'm interested to find out what her, take on the gas station That's the gas station dick pill series is. Not so much. I mean, I feel like to me, it seems like you incorporate her rating into yours at the end.
Yeah.
So
She's been throwing down a little more with a little more effort and a little more regularity now. She's like, oh no. Like last night, I was like, it's a 4 out of 5, and she said, no, I think it's 5.
I love this for you
Yeah.
and her.
Yeah.
This is so exciting.
Yeah.
And also the fact that I don't know, my friend went out, she was having a whole situation as she does with the dudes on the Cringe. I call it Cringe, not Hinge.
Okay.
And she said that this guy had like a 4-hour boner and he was like maybe even 5, I don't know.
Yeah.
And he was in his late 30s, maybe early 40s. Maybe he was like 40 years old maximum.
Sure.
Actually, maybe 41, like maximum. But um, she said something, and what I was just listening passively as I do, and that's also when I'm like the most psychic. And then I was like, maybe he was on GHB, GHB, and any kind of stimulant. So for those of you who don't know, the way that I found out was, I was a theater student, so I had all the gay boys, telling me all the stuff, and one of them had an older fiance, and he was like, "Well, I'm from the South." He's like, "I'm from the Southwest, where people are making crank left and right. So a little bit of crank and a little bit of GHB, and all of a sudden you're just twisted and have like a 7-hour boner, and that's how you go through the rave." And I was like, get out of town. That's a real thing. I was like, you're doing the date rape drug, like leisurely, like recreationally. He's like, oh yeah. So then I thought it was just like in the gay community, but then I watched a movie about a rave. It's called, you're going to love this movie. Please watch this movie. It's called Groove. It came out in like 2001 or two. I think it was.
Oh, that was my fucking air. It'll send a chill down my back. There's like a tingle, like, oh.
Did you watch that movie? Do you know?
No. But
you're gonna love it. It's so good. It's so exactly. It's gonna be perfect nostalgia for you.
Yeah.
But there is a point in time where everyone else there is on ecstasy or acid or mushrooms and stuff like that, and then this like one kid like comes up and asks for GHB. They're like, "Get out of here, kid!"
Yeah.
So anyway, back to my friend being like, "I don't know how this guy had this like however many like long boner and stuff like that." And I just like out of nowhere was like, maybe he's on GHB. I was like, did he do any cocaine too? And she was like, no. And I was like, does he take Adderall? She's like, definitely. And I was like, was he sipping on something that had like that was like red? And she goes, yes, he was. How did you know? And I was like, I didn't. I just kind of just said whatever. So anyway, she was like, yeah, I was like really impressed, but also I was like, I feel like there's something artificial about this. And I was like,
oh, you think there's something artificial about a 4-hour rod?
Right. And she was like, and I was like, he definitely didn't take any Viagra. He didn't take any whatever. And I was like, but was he sipping slowly on something and possibly was already on a stimulant like an Adderall or Ritalin? It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be doing meth with it.
Right.
And she was like, oh my God, he fucking was. And I was like, well, I'd be more concerned about the fact that this guy has the date rape job on lock, like already in his arsenal, even if he's just using it on himself. I was like, I think you can #do better.
I've had no 4-hour gas station dick pill boners.
Okay, good. What's the average duration?
Like 20 minutes.
Also, I feel like I'm me tooing you for even asking me that question. So
yeah, no. We can get to it.
This is consensual, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think less in terms of minutes and more in terms of her having an orgasm.
There you go.
It's funny. Me and my buddy did. We would do anything. I've been sober for 17 years, I guess.
Okay.
We would do anything and everything under the sun. It is only because of like where we were geographically and the time that it came out that I haven't fucking OD'd on Oxy, right? Because I've never done Oxy,
gosh.
but I would have. So he had a vial of GHB one time, and he would just get the shit. Him and his brother like owned a gym, and he would just get shit. He gave me Special K for my birthday one day, and I was just like, all right, and just yanked it up, like no warning, no nothing. So we did GHB one day, and we were just sitting. All of us were just like melted in his basement, like incapacitated, just waiting for the time to pass.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, it's the date rape joke, obviously, but like, but that was it. It was just like we had function of our heads and very little else.
Right. So imagine having that level of like lucidness, which is also
Right.
like dilating like blood vessels, and then you do a stimulant that then increases your heart rate.
Yeah.
And that's where the blood flow to your extremities and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
having the energy to do it. I used to have a joke that was like, I like New York, I get that you're really into cocaine, but I only do cocaine to stay up for my K holes. And that's a real paradigm shift for people that are just, they don't even know what K is. Now people do,
Yeah.
but that's because like people are doing it like in a doctor's office, which like, what's the fun in that?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Exactly. What's the fun?
but like, yeah, so, but you got one half of what the stimulant to GHB like cocktail
I
has to offer,
mean,
which is like just, it's almost like, I hear it's kind of almost like a little Quaalude and without the more hypnotic like effect. But I'm not here. This is not
it sounds
I'm
terrifying.
it does sound terrifying. And I'm not here for it. I'm like I also joke that I'm like, I'm just at the age where like if I'm going out, it's like a half a hit of acid and a mango margarita. And I mean that's not like every time, but like I was like, don't even come to me with anything else, okay?
I'm
Even
at
though
the age with a half a hit of acid. I mean, I don't know that that's ever an age. I think it's still a mindset.
I think it is a lifestyle. I didn't do acid until like I was in my early 20s though. It's something that I put off. I actually put off like having sex and doing well ecstasy and acid for as long as I possibly could. And well, I guess I did the first two when I was 17, but then I didn't do acid until later because I was afraid. And then I found
Yeah.
out, no, this might be the truth. Like when people are like, what do you regret in your life? I'm like, that I didn't do LSD sooner. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that I didn't like, just like blow off the veil behind, all the bullshit and like, I don't know, come into myself more.
Yeah.
I don't know if that sounds good.
I wrestle with microdosing shrooms every once in a while, but I
Do
mean, I
you think
haven't
that would
done
be
it.
a slippery slope for you, having
I
been
mean, listen, if I could get it written on a prescription, then I can make the argument that it was prescribed by a doctor and I'm still sober. But I do think it's a slippery slope for me.
I
That
am a
said, I
huge
still recommend everybody tries ecstasy at least twice.
yes, at least twice.
Yeah.
And also, I'm a huge advocate for mushrooms and microdosing on mushrooms. In fact, speaking of another Canadian, when I found out, I didn't hear about Jordan Peterson until way late.
Yeah.
But when he was describing what I didn't realize was him recovering from having his entire system fried by using benzos, for over a decade, for like 11 years, he was using
Wow, I had no
benzos.
idea.
Yeah, that's like where his like illness came from. I was like, "Oh, did you contract, like did he have a chronic illness?" No, he was, addicted to benzos functionally, but
Yeah.
benzos and alcohol are the only two substances that you can actually die after you've developed a dependency. If you go cold turkey on them, your actual system will like shut down.
Oh
There's no
wow.
other substances in the world that will do that. Not even cocaine, not even
Right, not even
heroin,
heroin.
not
Right.
even heroin. It's just benzos and alcohol. So when he was describing this like 4 hours to like get out of bed and then just like melting in a shower, and like the thing that saved his life was that his childhood friend, or some friend that he'd known at least since college, would take him on walks, like these like 2-hour walks, just to like get some blood flowing and whatever.
Uh,
I didn't even know that because he didn't say it out loud until like a subsequent interview. I was like, oh, this guy has some kind of nerve damage. Okay. And he also needs something to like resuscitate his zeal for life. And I was just like, I think I'm just going to send this guy a bunch of pills of like a little more than microdose
I was going to
of
say you should try divorce.
because that will restart
That's
the whole system.
resuscitated my zeal.
Oh, wow. No, I think he and his wife might have, they have a good thing going, but
Right.
I mean, it might be like slightly codependent at times, but
I
we'll,
mean, I mean, listen. If you're in a slightly codependent relationship, it sounds like you're probably in a pretty good relationship.
well, we like to call it interdependence, which is that we realize that we're all connected, but not
Yeah,
necessarily falling into like a codependency. We're like two you get to still be two sovereign states that realize that the overall benefit to each is to work together, you know. But I was just like, oh, all this guy needs is to microdose on mushrooms every day, and he'll be able to get himself out of bed and take himself on those walks, and you know, he'll just be magically, you know, amazing. But anyway, I think he started making a lot of money, and after being, you know, canceled by the education system and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think that's what got him back into gear. So
Yeah,
divorce,
the truest antidepressant.
yeah, getting divorced, getting canceled, and or just having a huge influx of cash to resuscitate your
That's
mojo.
next, baby. That's next. Huge influx of cash.
I'm super here for it. Okay. Oh my gosh, this has been so amazing. John Moses, you are
Yeah,
my
thanks. I'm so
favorite.
glad you asked me to do it.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I don't know when you're going to be in New York. I am going to put your name in that little goofy lounge's ear in Long Branch, New Jersey, that I had such a good time dancing at. However,
Okay.
it's a long shot. But
I will take
when
the
you
New
are in
Jersey
New
trip.
York,
Mhm.
you know, DJing, I'm there.
Okay. I'm hoping that, well, my favorite, so Brooklyn Mirage, I haven't actually been to, but it's in the same place as Avant Gardner, right?
Right. Avant Gardner is like, I might be like the parent company, maybe, or
I don't know. All I
something.
know is that I am not a fan of Avant Gardner. I think I've been there 2 times, and I can't believe I even went back. But the first time that I went, our friend who looked like the weirdo went through one security line with a quickness, and then my other friend and I went through a security line where this guy had obviously just gotten, you know, decommissioned from his military police job,
Yeah.
and was taking it so extra seriously. He was manhandling me and my bag, and then he did like the full, like
The
whole
heavy
9
touch.
on my friend. And
Yeah.
I literally was sitting there like freaking out. And I was looking back and I was like, no offense. I'm happy this is happening to you and not me, because I would have headbutted that motherfucker and I would be
Yeah.
in jail right now.
Yeah.
And then he was like, it's okay. You know, I'm cool with it. And he's like, plus he didn't find my drugs, you know? And I was like, oh, I was like, all of that for, this is just gross. And then like we went inside and a fucking bottle of water was $14 and the show wasn't that
I
good.
know. I know.
And I just hated it.
Avant Gardner produced the cruise that I was on, and I had I mean, the water was ridiculous, but I had a great time.
I'm just going to tell you, there are better people.
So where do I go then?
Offhand, anything that happens at nowadays, Good Room. I just and Elsewhere. Good Room is my favorite, but Elsewhere and Nowadays both have outdoor like spots, so it's a little more square footage. But literally, Good Room is my favorite dance floor in the city, and I know I've said this on here. I used to temp with this woman who was like a 60-year-old, you know, Black woman named Miss Beverly. I call her Miss Beverly, and she was still throwing parties, hip hop parties, funk parties with her cousin and her, like, I guess her brother-in-law, and her late husband had been a DJ. And she's like, I stopped doing cocaine in 1988, but I still kept throwing parties. And they used to throw parties at Good Room until it changed, you know, hands.
Vibes.
Yeah, until it changed like owners.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know what it was in the cross current, but she was telling me all kinds of nasty tricks. I love.
I'm Googling Good Room as soon as we.
Good Room is my favorite, and that's a place where I definitely plan to. Actually, I should contact them before Mercury goes retrograde tomorrow to see if I can get something. If not at the late January, then mid in February, essentially. Cool. But I don't know if we have enough time for a Q&A with Ray. What kind of, okay, give me 2 questions that you guys want to ask John Moses about Ray DeVito. This is one where I said, Elise, are you boofing Ray's kratom? No, I am not. That was because I accused Ray of boofing kratom after I found out that he had tried it. And I was like, I think you're boofing. Boofing is when you stick it up your rectum. Yeah. So I think he might be boofing. He didn't even know what boofing was. He also didn't know what an enema was. And I was like, anyway. So you guys better come in quick with the questions, because we gotta let John Moses go, because he's a busy man. He's got things to do. He's got fucking gas station dick pills to rate.
Hey, I got a video I'm editing right now.
Oh yeah, he's editing videos. It's all amazing. Okay. Whoa, these are mean. Okay, but anyway, Peter Sky Parker, John, is Ray DeVito 49 or 50 years old? That's not a question. That's not the one that I meant either. Anyway. Okay, John, why is Ray an angry hunchback? By the way, these are like Ray's, some of these people are Ray's trolls also, but some of
Got
these
it.
people are just well-meaning,
Got it.
whatever. I
Great
don't know what you call
profile
it.
image, dingbat.
Is that a dick?
Gotta be.
Is that a dick with a wart on it?
Yeah.
This is getting weird. Okay,
Yeah.
guys. Well, I think you guys just canceled the Q&A because I don't want to have to deal with your shit.
I
So
was gonna say
anyway,
childhood anyway. To answer your question, childhood. Anyway.
he's not a hunchback. He's actually fit as a fiddle. I mean, at
Oh,
least
interesting.
physically. After he got over the gout. Anyway,
Yeah.
this is like far too much talk about someone who is not present in the room.
Yeah, I feel like I'm at a Devils game watching the Leafs and people are going, Rangers suck.
Oh my gosh. Speaking
That's the
of,
thing.
I don't even know where do the Devils play, or this Jersey, right?
Yeah,
I
Prudential
was like,
Center.
Devil sounds like something I've heard in a Kevin Smith film.
There you go.
Then where, and the Leafs are Maple
Toronto,
Leafs.
where I'm from.
Okay. All right. I'm getting there. And
There we
then I only just found out that there's another hockey team here, like not the Rangers. There's also
Oh, the Islanders, yeah.
the Islanders. I went to an Islanders game. It was my first hockey game in probably 15 years, and just
Cool. Was it
went like
fun?
3 weeks ago. It was a ton of fun. It
Oh
was
yeah, I love watching games in at the Nassau.
that place is really cool.
Yeah.
But I grew up a Caps fan, so
There you go.
yeah.
Not that much of a fan, obviously.
Well, I kind of stopped and watched a video like outside of a bar the other day. And I
Yeah,
was
okay,
like,
there you
oh,
go.
they're losing, and there's like, like 3 minutes left in the third. So I gotta go. I was like, I don't think, or no, it was like 90 seconds left in like the third. It's only thirds, right? I'm not.
Yep.
This game hasn't changed the whole time since I was.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Nice. All right. Yeah, I feel I'm just gonna stop. I'm from Virginia, you're from Canada. You can't even compare. But
Yeah.
with the hockey thing. But my mom is from Detroit and one of 12 children, so most of my family is super into hockey.
Oh, okay. I love Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit's an interesting place. I think you should do more comedy out there also.
Oh man, so I had maybe the set of my life in everything was like called Joey's Comedy Club in just outside of Detroit. What was the name of the town? Anyway, of course the place burned down the next week.
Very Detroit of them. 313.
Yeah.
Oh.
They bought every piece of fucking merch that I had, which never ever happens. Like usually I go and I'm like, why do I even bring this? I'm such a poor salesman. But they bought every single thing that I had, and I was like, this place is great. I got to come back. Burnt to the fucking ground the following week.
Well, I can't wait till you get your own brand of dick pics, a hawk at the merch table. 1, 2. I can't wait till your daughter is up and running on the 1s and 2s. And
DJ PJs, I can't wait.
DJ PJs.
Yeah.
I love this. Oh my gosh. So then she can hype the vibe while you're, exiting, and she'll be at the merch table. Once you get a DJ by your merch table, it brings.
When she's 12 years old and she can look after herself during the 90-minute soap portion in the hotel room, it's a fucking wrap. Me and this kid are going everywhere.
Oh man, I'm super excited for all of this. So anyway, please let us know where we can find you on the internet, and any shows coming up and anything you want to plug.
Yeah, comedian John Moses on Instagram, John Moses on Twitter. I'm at the Williams Center in Rutherford, New Jersey, Saturday, and whatever. I got a bunch of albums out in the world in existence, and Gas Station Dick Pill Review on Instagram.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite programming. And where can they find the albums and whatnot? Are they?
So they're like basically anywhere that you stream, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all that stuff. So they're streaming on Spotify. You can download them on Apple. I'm easy. I'm an easy guy to find.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, John Moses. Everyone, make sure you give him a follow. I know that I already got beloved chatter listening to John Moses material, which I'm very excited about. And again, I'm Elise Edwards, aka Elise Adamkara, aka DJ Jouet, aka Elise No Matters What You Say. And yeah, you guys have been fun. Again, I'll be DJing as part of Discount Disco New Year's in DC at Flash Nightclub, and there is my promo code in the banner at the bottom. It's
Oh, I wish
DJ
I was there.
Jouet 24. And yeah, this has been real. If I don't talk to you guys, I'm going to try to do another one of these next week, but I think I also have to meet with my therapist on the 10th or on the 18th or whatever next Monday is. So we'll see how that goes. If I can do both a stream and one of these, but you know, I'm a no effort loser. So stay tuned. Anyway, thank you so much, John.
All right. Thanks, Elise.
Till next time, friends. This has been the Elise Edwards Experience, and we are out. Peace.